This morning on Today's Kitchen, we are cooking up some great summer vegetables. Sara Foster is the author of Fresh Every Day and joins us with some delicious and fresh recipes. Sara, good morning to you. Nice to have you here.
Good morning, Lester.
You call this New Southern cooking. What was Old Southern? What do you mean by New Southern?
Well, New Southern for me is taking traditional Southern recipes and ingredients and making them really simple and fresh by barely cooking them or roasting them or grilling them, and using techniques that really bring out the best flavor in the vegetable.
And you've brought some really interesting recipes today. The first thing involves bell peppers and carrots. We're going to make a soup, right?
Yeah, we're going to make a wonderful pureed soup, and we're using roasted bell peppers. So you could make this soup with orange peppers. You could make it with yellow ones. Just whatever you have. You know, if you have something growing in your garden.
So you got bell peppers. It looks like some onions in there, some carrots.
We have some carrots, some onions, a little bit of pear to give it sweetness, and we're going to puree the pepper, and we serve it in these wonderful little shot glasses. You can just pick it up and sip it. It's a great way to serve it because you don't have to have a spoon. It makes a really nice little hors d'oeuvre for cocktail parties. And we're going to puree it with an immersion blender. And this is a great way to puree the soup because you can put it right into the pot. You don't have to wait for it to cool and put it in a blender. It's really quick and easy. And by pureeing the soup too, you also you're blending all those flavors together. So you're making the soup much more flavorful.
I'm back with my good friend and wonderful cookbook writer, Sara Foster. Her new book, Fresh Every Day, is in the bookstores now. I just wanted to tell the audience, each of you is getting one of these books. So that's really great. And you're also going to get something from Sara's store. And what is that?
We have our famous Foster's Market 7 pepper jelly that everybody's going to get a jar of that.
And this is great. Serve that with a little bit of goat cheese on a little piece of French bread. Oh, it's so good.
It's really,
I
really
love it.
great.
So I want to make the salad really fast so that we don't
we're going to finish this up. We're just going to make a balsamic vinaigrette with a little bit of
quarter
garlic
of a cup,
and a quarter cup of balsamic vinegar.
One garlic clove.
No, there's about 4 in there. I like it really garlicky, but if you like less, don't put as much. About a tablespoon of Dijon vinaigrette.
No,
and
mustard.
Mustard, I mean,
right.
And about 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar.
Oh, red wine, and okay, you're like I am. I like to mix my vinegars.
Yeah, because the balsamic tends to be a little strong.
Right.
And then just
what's
a
the
little
salad?
salt and pepper. The salad is wonderful wild Italian arugula that came from the farmer's market today, and baby spinach. And these greens making an easy dinner so easy because they come, you know, you don't have to really trim them or anything. They're just ready to go.
But you have to wash them.
Yeah, you have to wash them.
Spin them dry and chill them.
And they get nice and crisp.
Yes,
and
they
you can do that ahead of time too. It's really easy. So, and you know, you can flavor your vinaigrette with anything.
That is
really.
a good vinaigrette.
We're going to season this with
yummy.
a little bit of salt and pepper. And we're going to put a little bit of the vinaigrette. It's really to taste. I mean, I like starting with just a small amount. And because you can always add more, and you just want to gently toss this just until the leaves are nicely coated. I'm going to give you a nice serving, and then on top of this, okay, that arugula is so good.
I love this arugula, and baby
spinach.
It's so
peppery. It's really great.
It is gorgeous.
And then we're going to put 3 or 4 slices of the squash on it. And I love serving this warm because it kind of wilts the greens. And it's just a great fall dinner. I think a lot of times people don't think about eating salads in the fall, but I think it's such a nice thing to have.
What a great way to get all your vegetables on one plate and a little bit of delicious protein with the goat cheese, breadcrumbed goat cheeses. Oh.
Yeah, and you really don't need a lot more with
Isn't that really beautiful?
This morning on Today's Kitchen, celebrating summer's best produce, from the sweetest corn to the tastiest tomatoes to the strawberry and cream of your dreams. It is time during the summer to sample the freshest produce ever. This morning, Sara Foster, who is the author of the Foster's Market Cookbook, joins us.
Today we're going to be grilling a selection of squash, peppers, and onions, but you could basically grill anything on this cart. You can even grill radicchio, asparagus, corn, anything. We're just going to brush this with a little simple marinade of olive oil, fresh basil, and a little balsamic vinegar. And you just whisk it together. You want to start brushing it on the veggies for me?
And I just do a light coat for all of them?
Yeah, just brush it on. For veggies that are really fresh, right out of the garden, you want them a little bit of crisp tender. You don't want them, you know, falling apart, cooked to death. So just until they get nice color, they should still be a little bit crunchy. So you could take a piece of crostini, put a little bit of chev on it, a little piece of this vegetable, and serve it as an hors d'oeuvre or an appetizer. Why don't you put that together for me? You can start by putting a 1/3 cup of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and 2 teaspoons of flour.
Okay.
And
Mix those all up together.
Mix them all up with about a cup of coarsely chopped pecans. And I started here sifting 3 1/2 cups of flour with 2 teaspoons of baking powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then in the mixer, we're going to cream together 10 tablespoons of butter with 1 cup of sugar. And this just needs to mix together until it gets nice and light. The great thing about pureeing soups is it just blends all the flavors together very well. And sorry. You can puree it until it's really, really smooth, or you can leave it a little bit chunky, you know, however you prefer it. Well, I think the cookbook, the Foster's Market Cookbook, has something to offer everyone. It has a lot of my family recipes. Here we have my mom's bread pudding. The great thing about this crumb cake is, as you can see, it's like 50% crumbs. All that good goopy topping that we love.
You're live on the air with Sarah and David. Who's calling, please?
Sue from New Jersey. Do you have the recipe for German Black Forest cake in the book?
I don't have a recipe for Black Forest cake, but you could take the recipe we have for devil's food cake, and you could use cherries between it, and we have a great recipe for a chocolate satin icing.
That'll definitely make up. That's fantastic.
And we're going to start this by making pesto, and I want everyone to know how simple it is to make pesto. This pesto we're going to make with fresh basil, and if it's the time of the year that you have a garden, basil is one of those things that there's always a lot of. About 3/4 of a cup or less, you know, if you don't like it as oily. One of the things that I try to teach people in the book is really cooking should be to your taste. You know, you should make things the way that But there are a lot of ways you could roast them. You could toss them with a little oil, put them on a sheet pan, and put them in the hot oven. But today we're doing
this way kind of adds like a smoky flavor. I used to do this in a Southwestern restaurant a lot.
Yeah, it gives it wonderful flavor. And don't be afraid that the peppers are charring, because that's really what you want them to do.
Exactly what you want them to do.
Because there's so much butter and oil on the vegetables already. And you want to put it in a pretty hot oven. The oven is about 400 degrees. And just kind of shake them so they spread out nice and evenly. And I usually put the butternut squash on the top because they take a little bit longer to cook. And it's really important to, during the cooking process, to rotate the pans or stir the vegetables so they get a nice even coating.
Now, about how long?
Probably about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how your oven cooks. We're going to make some 2 salads, a curry chicken salad and a cucumber avocado tomato salad. And they're salads that are great for summer entertaining. I like to serve different kind of salads because they're the kind of thing that you can make ahead of time, so you're not spending a lot of time in the kitchen when your guest arrives. And we can pour this right on the salad. And I like to mix it before I add my avocado because I don't really like to bruise the avocado. So you can see how nice the fresh herbs make this look.